It's an old man moment.
We live?
We're live.
Awesome. Sweet. What's up, everybody? Ben from WODprep here. We got so much positive feedback on the live Murph strategy video that we've decided to maybe make this a recurring series. Every time I'm in the video studio shooting videos, I'm going to hop on a quick live and knock out a YouTube video. Today's topic of discussion is a great one if you're a beginner to CrossFit, or you might have friends who are thinking about trying out CrossFit. Send them to this video because this video is going to cover beginner CrossFit advice. The 5 things I wish I knew starting CrossFit. These 5 things are going to make a lot of sense to a lot of the veterans in the sport, and hopefully it's going to give you a lot of really good feedback and hopefully not make CrossFit so scary. So let's dig into it. When it comes to starting CrossFit, first, I'm going to talk about how to get started. If I spell anything improperly, forgive me. So I think a huge misconception with people who are thinking about maybe starting CrossFit is that CrossFit is for elite fitness. Yes, the old moniker used to be Forging Elite Fitness, but it's not about that. CrossFit as a methodology is designed to be infinitely scalable and able to be used by everyone. So that means no matter if you're 20 years old or 80 years old, technically there's a CrossFitter out there that is getting more fit at that age. That's because it's infinitely scalable. Here's an example. If I did the workout Cindy, which is 20 minute, as many rounds as possible of 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 air squats. For an athlete like me, I can do that no problem. I can do it as RX'd, meaning I can do it as it's written. I might even be able to make it harder. I could wear a weight vest, or I could do strict pull-ups or something like that. But maybe for the 74-year-old person who's like, I don't know if I can do that workout because I can't do pull-ups, I can't do push-ups, and I can't really squat. CrossFit's not for me. Wrong. At any decent CrossFit facility around the country, at your local affiliate, a good coach is well trained at scaling and modifying for any fitness level. So if you're an older athlete or you're someone who's not that fit, should I get fit before starting CrossFit? The answer is no. So in this hypothetical scenario, that 74-year-old who can't do a pull-up, can't do push-ups, and can't do squats would have a modified version of this workout. For instance, rather than doing pull-ups without assistance, maybe they could do banded pull-ups, or they could do some sort of seated pull-up where they're sitting down and they're pulling their chin over the barbell. Simple. Ring rows, another example. For the push-ups, if you can't do push-ups, you can't do them on the floor, maybe you can't even get into a plank position, I could do push-ups to a wall. I mean, shoot, let's just use this wall over here, right? We're getting out of the area. So I can literally have someone do push-ups like this, right? That's a really scaled version that still works the same movement pattern, right? Infinitely scalable. There's 100 different versions of the push-up that I can do. And then for the squat, if I can't squat all the way down below parallel, right? So let's say I can't get down there and stand all the way up, I could take a box and put it under my butt and then squat partially to a box. Listen, if you get on and off the toilet every day, which I hope most of you do, then you can do a squat. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, is that they can do a lot of these movements inside of a CrossFit affiliate, and a good coach will be able to scale and modify to any ability level. So no, you do not need to get in shape before starting CrossFit. What you need to do to get started, my suggestions are try a few affiliates in your area. There's going to be some local affiliates that are more geared to high-level competitors. There's going to be a lot of gyms that are geared to everyone. And there's going to be some gyms that have classes for adaptive athletes, for masters athletes, for teens, for kids. There's going to be some gyms that have classes that can suit your ability levels and suit your age group and suit you for whatever you want to do. So I would recommend, if you have multiple gyms in the area, try every one. Almost every gym that I know of will give you either a free week pass or a free consultation, or they'll let you try a class for free. Just go try it out. And unless you've sampled a few gyms, you really don't know if you're at the gym that's right for you. So try a few. I know for me, here in the Denver area, I've been to several gyms, and then I found my home at Coda CrossFit in Louisville, Colorado, because I love it. It has the competitor class that I want. It has a great community. So to get started, you do not need to get fit, and you do need to try out multiple gyms, and that's going to help you figure it out. And don't worry, if you go into the class and you have no idea what you're doing, that's okay. The right gym and the right facility is going to be able to cater to your needs, and they're going to explain everything clearly. And if they don't, then you know that gym might not be the right fit for you, and it's time to go try out the one right down the street. So those are some pieces of advice for getting started, and there's a lot more. Next, let's see, what are we talking about next? Next, soreness. So a lot of CrossFit beginners, and I remember when I first started, I was really, really sore. Like, I was sore, right? It happens, especially when we're using muscles that we've never used before. We're using muscles that we haven't used in years. So a lot of athletes that I know, when they first get started, they're like, Ben, I'm so sore. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Well, good news, the soreness goes away. Goes away. And what I mean by that is that, yes, after a few weeks or maybe months of doing CrossFit, that deep soreness that maybe is scaring you from going will go away. And then you'll reach a fitness level, because your fitness will absolutely improve. You'll reach a fitness level where you're not going to have that soreness. You're not going to, walk downstairs like that. You're not going to feel so sore that it hinders you. It's actually going to go away, and you won't feel nearly as sore. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to get sore sometimes, and that's your muscles and body adapting to this new fitness that you have, and your muscles breaking down, and then they build back stronger. That's where soreness happens. But you won't have that deep beginner soreness all the time. I promise you it does go away. Right now, I had a hard workout yesterday. I'm not sore at all. And that's because I've done it for a while. So you can do it, and the soreness will go away. So don't let that scare you. Next, we have consistency. Hopefully spelled right. The key to any fitness routine, especially CrossFit, is you need to find a consistent schedule for you. I would much rather have someone, if your goal is to get in shape and just be a healthier human being, I would much rather see that person go to the CrossFit gym 2 times per week for a year, rather than 7 days a week to get the most out of their membership, 7 days a week for a week, and then drop it. Remember, consistency is key. And I think the key to consistency is community. One of the most magical aspects of CrossFit is that it's not just a gym. It's not a Globo gym where you go out and you're in the squat rack doing bicep curls and you look over, there's this guy who's got his headphones on, and he looks at you and he's like, bro, why are you in the squat rack? There a lot of this, just people in their own zone, focus, walls with no social activity that you find at Globo gyms. That's not at CrossFit. At CrossFit, it's a lot of social interaction. So when you go to your class, especially if you get into the habit of going to the same class, you're going to make friends. Actually all of my lifelong closest friends have come inside a CrossFit gym, and that wasn't planned at all. I have plenty of friends, but almost all of my lifelong friends, like people that will be at my funeral and I will be at theirs, and I might even speak at them and they might speak at mine. Like, lifelong deepest friendships have come from CrossFit gyms. So if you want to find that consistency, get plugged into the community. There's a book club at my gym. We have swim days that we'd go snowboarding together. We have these organized community events. And if you, like I mentioned in the getting started, if you try a few gyms, you'll probably notice that a couple of them might not be as social. And for you, that might be the right fit. But if you are looking to increase that consistency and get plugged into the community, then going to a gym that has these social get-togethers, they have pizza night, they have, parties, they have big Murph events. All of these gyms that have this community aspect, it's a really great way to find some of your best and closest friends. And guess what? People at CrossFit gyms always know the best places to eat. They always do the coolest stuff outside of the gym, so you're going to have lots of other hobbies. And I promise you, you'll get plugged into a community, and it might just turn into the best friends that you've ever had in your entire life. And then next, Another thing that all beginners ask about, and this is a bit of a shift of changing gears, is gear. What sort of gear do I need to start CrossFit? And the answer is none. You don't need anything. You might have seen people wearing belts and knee sleeves and wrist wraps and arm wraps and face paint and chalk and wraps and grips and belts, all these things. You don't need anything. For a very, very long time, I would just show up to the gym looking like this. Maybe tank top, maybe normal shirt. I just show up. I would have shoes on. You're good. I highly suggest wearing shoes, underwear, and then things to cover the underwear. Those are like 3 things, and a lot of people don't even wear that. That's all you need. You don't need any fancy gear at all. Now, if you're a beginner who's already like hooked, you've drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and you're like, man, I kind of think I want some cool CrossFit workout gear, then don't get everything. There's a few things that I would suggest maybe picking up. Number 1 is good grips, because it is easy to sometimes tear your hands if you don't know how to take care of those. So I would suggest just do a Google search and say CrossFit hand grips and see what pops up. The ones that I love and use, RX Smart Gear has a pair, and so does Element 26. They're just good hand care tools that you can use anytime you have pull-up workouts or workouts where I'm dangling from a pull-up bar. Then you wear some grips and it's going to help prevent your hands from getting too torn up. But other than that, you really don't need much. Maybe add a belt at some point, and then you could get knee sleeves, and then if you really want to get fancy, you could get weightlifting shoes. But the first piece of gear that I would probably buy is maybe some grips, or it might also be good to pick up a pair of like true cross-training shoes. Normally cross-training shoes are going to be a flatter sole, so you're not going to have like a crazy heel lift. I know it looks like there's a big heel in there, but it's really not. There's a pretty flat shoe. It's got a lot of stability, and it's durable for rope climbs. So a lot of people will tear up their normal running shoes. Like Travis can show his shoes. He's got like some Noble runners on. Those would get absolutely destroyed for one rope climb workout. So it might be worth just getting a pair of cross-training shoes. You can do Reebok, you can do Nike, you can do my favorite Strike movement. There's so, Innovate is another great one. There's so many good shoes. You can go out and get a pair of shoes, but if you don't worry about it. A lot of people started this whole CrossFit craze wearing normal Converse. So just like the black and white Converse, and I had those for a while. They work great. So don't get too caught up in the gear. It's easy to go down that rabbit hole. Eventually, you might get addicted to shoes. I cannot guarantee that you won't. And then the last and final point that I want to make, and I think this is something that maybe people get scared of, especially if you're a beginner just trying to get started, is competition. So I think one of the coolest aspects of this sport of fitness is that you can compete no matter your ability level. And that's in something called the CrossFit Open or a local competition. And what's so cool is that I know for me, when I first started this crazy thing called CrossFit, I was doing, back and bicep. I was doing bodybuilding stuff, and I was so freaking bored of fitness, and it would cause me not to go at all. I didn't want to go to the gym because it was boring. But then I found CrossFit, and I got a little taste of competing, whether that's competing with other people in the class with me. I'm trying to beat that guy on the score today. I'm trying to, try to improve myself and compete against myself. When I actually started treating CrossFit with a little bit of competition, with a little bit of sport involved, it made me fall in love with it. And that's because you have infinite abilities and infinite chances to compete. You can register for the CrossFit Open. You can compete in a local competition. There's so many local competitions that have divisions for beginners. Go have fun. Don't worry about winning or anything like that. If you do need to win, WODprep can help you. But if you just want to get involved and find a way to fall in love with fitness again, add a little competing and you might be surprised. I have actually, what's a really good story is, so my ex-wife's sister-in-law, so basically an old relative technically, she was one of the least competitive persons. She was an art major, nothing against art majors, but she wasn't very competitive, right? She was relatively introverted. She wasn't very competitive. And when I was doing CrossFit with my ex-wife, we were trying to get her to come try it. And she's like, no, that is not for me. Have you seen CrossFit on TV? That's crazy. One day, we finally convinced her to come to a Saturday session at the local gym in Clarksville, Tennessee, I believe is what it was. And she's like, that was really fun. Like, I loved it. Long story shorter, she eventually became a coach, weightlifting coach, did lots of competitions. She got her level 1. She became all in. She was all in. She did competitions. She became an actual professional CrossFit coach. And that's all because someone, maybe you watching this video, just went the extra mile to say, hey, just come try a class. You might not like it, and if you don't, that's okay, but just come try it. You might like it, because what you see on the outside isn't what exists on the inside. And that's what she did, and she's been doing CrossFit for a very long time now and loves it, and has kept her fit and healthy to be a great mom to her 2 adorable children. So that's a quick story. Don't be afraid of competing. I think you might have a great time with it. And with that, I wanted to open it up to any questions. Travis, has there been any questions that rolled in? If not, we'll wrap this up. I hope that this video gave you a really good video to send people who might be interested in starting CrossFit, or if you yourself, I know a lot of people following WODprep are beginners. Just remember, getting started just involves trying out a few gyms. You do not need to get in shape to start CrossFit. You just need to start. That's the key, and it will get you in shape. And then remember, the soreness that you might feel as a beginner, it does go away. You might not be that sore, but some people do get really sore. It will go away, and it's not going to be a regular thing, I promise. Consistency is key, and if you want to be consistent and you want to be a healthier person, get plugged into the community. That's what makes CrossFit so special, is it's not like a Globo gym. You actually get plugged into the community, and it will change your life because you'll have that consistency, and you will see your body and mind transform. If you get gear, you don't need to get very much. Maybe start with a pair of decent CrossFit cross-training shoes and some hand grips. That's all you need. And then don't be afraid of competing. Competing is a great way to really fall in love with the sport of fitness. Have a great time with it. You don't need to be an elite athlete. You just have a lot of fun, and realize that CrossFit's pretty awesome. It's really fun, and it can change your life. So with that, if you ever want any more tips about how to get better, how to get started, just go to WODprep.com. We have a ton of free training guides that you can download. All you do is enter your name and email, and I'll send you free training for whatever thing you're looking for, whether it's learning how to do double unders or pull-ups or muscle-ups, or maybe you just want to download our free ebook that's just how to get better at CrossFit and how to get better at functional fitness. As a quick note, I am not associated with CrossFit in any way, shape, or form. I should have mentioned this earlier in the video. I'm my own company, WODprep. We are not in any way endorsed by CrossFit, but I just believe in the methodology, and I want to see more people, even if you don't buy a single WODprep course ever, that's totally fine. I want to see this company grow. Go support your local affiliate, have a great time, and I promise it can change your life. And with that, I don't think we had any questions roll in.
No questions, a couple comments. Tina Osborne said, great advice, and she's going to be sure to share.
Awesome.
And then she also said, in relation to the shoes, she said, Born Primitive Savage ones are awesome.
Yes, Born Primitive is a great one. My girlfriend is sponsored by them, and I want to get a pair because they look sick and they're simple. Born Primitive has awesome gear. Quick, non-sponsored plug. Great advice. Awesome. Yes, please, if you're watching this and you're like, yo, I've been doing this for 10 years, then use this video, send it to a friend that's been wishy-washy, maybe on the fence to try it out, and I hope we continue to grow this amazing community that we call CrossFit. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here. We'll try to announce our lives earlier so that you can be more prepared, show up, and ask some questions. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.